Well, welcome, guys, to our second presentation, our lesson 2 in Leadership 360. Hopefully, you enjoyed our first lesson that we shared together. Ms. Shaver said that it was well received. Hopefully, I can get some more questions from you guys. Ask those questions so we can go ahead and answer them for you so that we can get you moving to learn and to grow as an individual and prepare yourself for a leadership opportunity that may come your way in the near future. Hopefully, Work Ready is going really well for all of you guys. Hopefully, you're having some fun. I know Ms. Shaver and Mr. Jenkins and all the whole staff there dedicated to go ahead and offer the best program and the best opportunities for you guys to learn and to grow and to learn about leadership. So, our first lesson, we covered 5 points or levels of leadership. And if we remember them all together, first one is that you are assigned a leadership position. That's the lowest position of leadership. To be assigned, people have to follow you because you were put in charge. As a leader, you don't want people to follow you because they have to. You want people to follow you because they want to. And that's level 2. People follow you because they start to know who you are. You start to develop a relationship. You start to understand who they are. You understand what their strengths and what their weaknesses are. And you start to work together on a common vision that both of you may have or your company has and you shared with the people that you are in charge of. Level number 3, people will follow you because you're productive. In other words, you get things done. And everybody likes to be on the winning team. It feels good to be on the winning team. That's why we used to have competitions between, we used to call them Team Alpha and Team Bravo and Team Charlie and Team Delta, and see who would perform their task better that day or more efficiently that day. And then they would exchange different ideas and how they did that and how they used their leadership skills to go ahead and to accomplish that winning score for the day. The fourth position is that you start to train people to understand what your position is. You start to train your own replacement, if you would. And then the fifth level is that all of this is working together. People follow you because you influence them. You have a great influence upon them. You are productive, and not only that, but you're the whole system, and the people who are underneath you are learning to be leaders and taking responsibility in that position as well. So let's move on to today's lesson, and let's look at the challenges that you may face, because I really love instructors that give you all of these facts. They give you all of these facts, and then they tell you to just go do them, but they don't ever give you any example on how to accomplish any of that. So what we're going to try to do today is to try to combat some of the lies that you might have heard. Not only that, but to give you some confidence that you can be a leader in any position that you hold, even if you're not appointed to a leadership position. And that's the heart and soul of Leadership 360. So we're going to look at the challenges that you may face as you begin this process of being a leader, wherever you may find yourself within the organization that has hired you. And this is the Work Ready program. You want to start to influence people. You want to understand what your job is. So we're going to cover a lot of those things. Ms. Shaver has asked you to make a list of your strengths and your weaknesses. And hopefully you've done that. And I would hope that Ms. Shaver would send them to me. I hope everyone did that. If you could send me a list of your strengths and your weaknesses, then we could start to go ahead and create this path for each and every one of you. How to not only work with your strengths and put them to work in a leadership position, but also to work through your weaknesses. One of my weaknesses is organization. I am not an organized guy. Never was. I tried to work on it, and I tried to get myself organized by doing all different types of things that I've learned from people in the past. But I always have someone with strong organizational skills around me because I know that is one of the places where I'm going to fall short in the leadership positions that I'm appointed to. So if I have someone who has strong organizational skills, we're going to do just fine. So you see how recognizing your weaknesses could become a strength. It could help you to succeed, and that's what we want you to do. We want you to be able to succeed. Okay? Now, the task that Ms. Shaver has given to you is an important exercise because we want you to grow and we want you to be honest. Where do you stumble? Where do you succeed? You need to know and understand those, who you are, and the things that help you to succeed and the things that are holding you back, so that we could address those and get a path and get a plan for your life so we can move forward with those. Okay? Now, okay, so with that said, let's look at the myths, the lies that people tell you about leadership. They may come up and tell you, well, you'll never be a leader or you'll never amount to anything. That's a lie. So you cannot believe that. You have to understand that in the midst of your failure, that you are still worth something. You never lose your worth. You have to understand that. And you have to keep that in your heart and in your mind, that you are worth something even when you fail. And I think it's a common problem amongst a lot of people today, that when they fail, they do not feel as if they can be successful. And that's a lie. That's a lie. They feel as if they can't move forward or can never be put into a leadership position because they always fail. That's a lie. So we're going to be looking at what you do when you fail and how you move forward, or as John Maxwell puts it, how you could learn to fail forward, meaning that if you fail, failure can be your greatest teacher. You learn more from your failures than you do your successes, and we all know that to be absolutely true. So we have to look at each time that we fail and say, what did I do wrong and what did I do right? How could I have gotten past that stumbling block that has went ahead and turned this whole situation to a non-winning situation for me? How can I go ahead and move myself forward, and what can I take from this failure that I could add to the next opportunity that I may have to go ahead and move myself forward? Okay? So, the myth, the first lie that we want to look at is, I can only lead if I'm in charge at the top. And that is a lie. The true measure of leadership is influence, how much influence you have with the people round about you. Leadership is a matter of disposition, not position. I'm going to say that again so you get it. Leadership is a matter of disposition, and it is not a matter of position. What do I mean by that? Your disposition is about how you look at things, the picture, or through what glasses are you looking at your situation? What is your paradigm, if you will? How do you look at situations where you are? At Mid-Atlantic, a lot of you look at, well, I can't wait to get out of here because when I get out of here, I'm going to do this. Or when I get out of here, I'm going to do that. And you say to yourself, well, I'm not going to go ahead and do anything until that point, until I get out. See, that's where you go wrong. You need to start working on what you're going to do when you get out now. You need to start working on it now. So the position myth, I can only lead when I'm in charge or on top, that is wrong. You can start to lead at any position that you are. No matter if you just walked into the dorm yesterday, you could start to be an influence in the people in your dorm. People start looking towards you for guidance, for leadership, for some sort of comfort, for some sort of encouragement. If you have not been encouraging someone or if you have not been passing on wisdom to someone, you have to ask yourself, have you taken any encouragement in? Have you learned anything of wisdom to pass on? In other words, if you're going to influence or comfort someone or pass some wisdom on to someone, you must first possess this wisdom. So you have to learn it. So it is very, very important for you to get out there and to learn these things. That's part of that learning what we talked about last week about moving through the levels of leadership. But the lie is that you cannot move or you cannot grow because you're not in a leadership position yet. That's a lie. You see, you need to start preparing now for that. Myth number 2, the destination myth. When I get to this position, when I get to this place, then I'll start. That's a lie. If you want to run a marathon in October, you do not start training in October. If you want to run the marathon that takes place in Chicago in October, you have to start training in April. When you start training in April for a month or 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, you run so many miles, and those amount of miles are increased slowly and slowly and slowly until you are absolutely ready in October to run that entire marathon. If you started going ahead and preparing for that marathon in October, you're going to not be able to complete it, or you're going to quit. And I think we see a lot of quitting, and I think a lot of quitting is because of the destination myth. Destination myth says, I'm not going to prepare till I get there, and then all of a sudden the opportunity comes and you're not prepared, and that's why you fail. Here's a quote that Mr. Jenkins will be able to explain to you. I put this in there just for you, Mr. Jenkins. John Wooden, direct quote from John Wooden: when opportunity comes, it's too late to prepare. And I think that happens to a lot of you guys. I think you have a lot of opportunities to come to your way, but when the opportunities come, you're not prepared for them, and therefore you miss out on them. And that's where I think that you guys can better prepare. So what are you doing to prepare? I think that'd be a good lesson for next time, a good lesson for Ms. Shaver to go ahead and to share with the class. You guys could write these things down. What are you doing to prepare? Now, you may be sitting there and saying to yourself, well, I don't know. That's okay. It's okay not to know. It's not okay not to ask. So I think it'd be a great time of discussion for you to discuss amongst the whole group of you that are there, including the staff. What are you doing to prepare yourself for these leadership positions or for these opportunities that may be coming your way? Okay, so give that subject some discussion. Make sure you write down some of your ideas and send them along to me so I could hear what you guys are doing. It's very difficult for me to do these because I'm an interacted teacher, expository sort of speaker, and I'll always react it to the audience in which I'm teaching. Now I have no audience. I have a camera. That's all I have. So you guys need to give me some feedback. So I really appreciate the feedback to make these presentations so much better. Myth number 3, the influence myth. Right now, how do you rate your influence? And am I taking? I'm talking about up. In other words, are you influencing the people who are above you? Are you influencing the people who you are in charge of? Or are you influencing your peers that may be to your right or your left? What are you doing to influence someone, and how are you influencing them? Is it in a positive manner, or is it in a negative manner? And you guys need to write that down too. Write down how many times you have influenced someone during the day. And was it a positive influence, or was it a negative influence? And how do you think that it either helped or hurt the person who which you are influencing? See, if you start to influence people in a positive manner, that they will follow you, even if you're not in a leadership position, and that the people who are in leadership positions will notice that and then appoint you to a leadership position. and then as a consequence, you start to grow. Okay. Now, the myth number 4, okay, is I don't have enough experience. I'm not qualified. I don't have the certificate for that. Well, you could start learning. Start learning and start preparing for what you want to do. Ahmir was on Facebook. I'm going to allow Miss Shaver. I'm going to give Miss Shaver the links to Ahmir's new videos that he has out there on Facebook. He's starting his rap career. I gave him some advice because he sounds just like everyone. And I want you to listen to his words. I want you to tell me, once you listen to his words, are they influencing you positively, or are they influencing you in a negative manner? Are they telling you how good it is and how many opportunities that you may have out there? Or are they telling you that you have no opportunities and that you're doomed? And that you're doomed. Listen to the music that you are listening to. I mean, truly listen to it. Take the words, have them printed out, write them out. Are these words inspiring me, or are they discouraging me? Are they telling me that I don't matter, that I have no influence, or in what manner are they moving me forward? In what manner are they preparing me for what's going to face that I'm going to be facing in the future? In the future. Now, keep in mind that the lie of I need to have more experience, okay, you could start to learn on the job, you could start to do some research of the jobs that you have, and that's why Work Ready gives you all of these opportunities to do this, and all these opportunities to experience this, to run the carpet machine, and to run the floor buffer, and to scrub walls, and to scrub moldings, and to get them done, and to go ahead and shampoo those rugs, and to organize. There's a wall group, and there's a floor group, and there's a bathroom group, and how to work together and coordinate these activities together to accomplish a single vision. And then look at what you guys have accomplished and how great it is, and what kind of influence you're having on the rest of the facility as you're doing this. So we looked at the 4 myths that we have and the lies that we have, and I just want to go over them very, very quickly here for you, okay? I can only lead if I'm at the top. That's myth number 1. Myth number 2, and once I get to this place, or once I am given this opportunity, then I could start to become the leader that I've always wanted to be. You have to be constantly preparing. You can't wait for the point when someone will either give you an opportunity. If you wait for the opportunity to come and you have not been preparing, the opportunity is going to pass you by. Okay? And then myth number 3, the influence. How much influence? Are you having a positive influence or a negative influence? If you've been having negative influence on people, I guarantee you the leadership is not going to assign you a leadership position. In fact, you're probably going to be asked to lead the Work Ready program. But if you've been having a positive influence on the people that are around you, not only the people that are in charge of you, but the people you are in charge of, and your peers to your left, to your right, you're growing as a leader, and that's the kind of people that we're looking for. And then myth number 4, the inexperience. You can get experience if you want to, and that's what it is. We have this thing that we used to teach. You have to have want to. Without want to, you're never ever going to be able to succeed. You're always going to quit. You're going to have that want to succeed, that desire to want to move forward, that desire to be better, that desire to hold a leadership position, that desire to change the world no matter who you are. And don't let people convince you that you cannot do it. Well, hopefully you learned something from this today. There will be a little handout Ms. Shaver will give you, some of the notes that I've written down. I don't know how the last notes, how you guys filled in the blanks, if that worked out for you or not. I'll talk to Ms. Shaver and see how that worked out, but I'm going to give you just regular notes this time and see if that helps you out, and give me some feedback on how you feel these lessons are going or what I could add to these lessons. Okay? So until next Saturday, have a great week. Hopefully everything's working out well for you, and I'll talk to you soon.